Hey people, I'm going to talk about my life so far and how I feel after being symptom-free, mostly from psoriasis. So what's it like? What does it feel like after not having to constantly scratch, clean, and deal with psoriasis? Well, it's been it's been really good. I have a lot of feeling and sensation back in my skin. That's always a good thing. The itching is almost non-existent, just normal itching nowadays. The the cleaning is the biggest lifesaver. That the fact that I don't have to constantly be vacuuming and cleaning every last spot where my skin would flake off and go into cracks and crevices all over the place. That's the number one thing, and it's been great to not have to deal with that. And now I can actually use the stupid little robot vacuum cleaners and have it go around and clean up and get pretty much everything in the right areas. I think that's probably the biggest number one thing that I really am glad to not have the psoriasis for. Another thing is whenever the psoriasis would get dry and cracked, it would hurt. It would hurt before it even cracked. As I always said in my older videos, the skin, the top layer of skin would get dry and then just kind of squeeze in and twist the skin underneath it, and that would cause pain. That's another thing that I don't have to deal with anymore. That's always a plus. What else? I mean, there's just so much going on with that. I'll probably have to do a live stream at some point and answer some live questions. That would probably be a little better than me just kind of going off the top of my head. The other thing that is really good about not having it is it's kind of a double-edged sword with mental health, right? I've always thought of myself as a pretty mentally healthy person, stable in general. Having kids has definitely put a lot of that into perspective. And I definitely, after not having psoriasis, I can definitely notice that there's a big change in my overall perception of things and how I feel things emotionally and everything differently as well. I always said that I was not too terribly self-conscious. Of course I was self-conscious about it, but I wouldn't let that affect me as much as other people may. And I'm not saying that that was a good thing or a bad thing. It worked for me, and I think that is probably that's probably one of those things that I just didn't really recognize when I was in it. As I always said, I had thick skin. Well, I did have thick skin, both physically and emotionally. And I don't think I would let myself feel as deeply as I do now. I mean, now after having kids and everything, it's just like every stupid little thing. Whenever my daughter watches like a movie and she gets sad, I just start tearing up too because I feel so sad for her. And that's one of those things that definitely didn't happen before. And I don't know if it's the kids or if it's being post psoriasis. Everything could probably play a little bit of a role there. Having that thick skin was very good for me emotionally because I liked to. I think that having that thick skin, protected me, and maybe it might have been a little bit of a wall that I built around myself, but it was something that kind of helped me get through my life with psoriasis, and it also taught me many things about how to take a lot of things with a grain of salt. I always said I never cared about what other people thought of me. Of course I care what people think of me. In general, I don't want to come across as an asshole or emotionally insensitive or any of this stuff. But I think what I didn't care about is people who had bad things to say. If anybody had anything bad to say, even here on YouTube, there are plenty of commenters that are just trolls or whatever. I learned how to deal with trolls both, online and in real life. I never really necessarily encountered many trolls, I guess, in real life, but it allowed me to kind of just proceed with confidence in my daily dealings. And that was a very important thing, is just to have that confidence regardless of your skin condition or any other debilitating condition that you may have. You just have to go out there and get it instead of just shying away and hiding from the world. That gets you nowhere. And so that thick skin helped me to just continue and be who I was for the most part, and just be confident, and that's the thing that I really took away from having psoriasis, and it could be just my personality trait too. I don't know, but I think it had a lot to do with psoriasis in trying to training me to deal with those things. That old saying where you never know how good you had it until you hit rock bottom. Well, I wouldn't say psoriasis is rock bottom for me, but it definitely was a damper on things. But everything after psoriasis has been really good and really awesome in general. Some things that I miss about having psoriasis is that just like you guys watching my videos, cleaning myself was kind of an OCD thing, and I know I may have 100 or so videos out there of me doing the cleanings and stuff, but I didn't film myself 24/7 doing it, and I would peel constantly all the time, and that was a fidget, I guess, or a nervous habit, or whatever that I just had, and I did, and that's something I kind of miss not having. So I've had to turn, my idle hands had to turn to using other things like fidget toys and other things that just keep my hands busy while I'm sitting there thinking. And that's another thing about having psoriasis, and that constant pain and itch. That's another thing. I think it allowed me to focus more, because that itch and that pain was pretty much always present, and so that kind of put my mind into the zone for the most part every day. And after not having it for a while, I don't know if it had something to do with how I am now, but I find myself wandering a lot. My brain is wandering around all over the place, and it's hard to kind of zero in and focus in on something. I mean, I don't know if it's ADHD or whatever, but it kind of feels like that. My attention is shifting constantly to different things, and just so many random thoughts going through my head. So that's another thing that has affected me not having psoriasis, is that now my brain has so much bandwidth, so to speak, opened up now that I don't have to deal with the itching or the pain, and yeah, I just find myself just going all over the place. So I try to focus in by using those fidget tools and listening to music. When I listen to music and work and whatever, that helps me to really zero in and focus in on whatever I'm doing. Kind of like the way it used to be with having the psoriasis. That so that's definitely one thing I miss. At least I think I miss about it. The other thing is that, you know, I love a good back scratch or scratch. You know, whenever you have an itch, I love a scratch whenever that happens. However, those scratches with psoriasis, whenever I had psoriasis and I had a really bad itch that I went for, scratching that was so awesome. It was kind of just like a constant, you know, release of endorphins whenever I scratched there, and that's why a lot of us with psoriasis scratch until we bleed, because, you know, it just feels so good to keep scratching it. And that was always a thing that would be present for the most part. And if I would start bleeding, I would, you know, scratch in a different spot. Actually, I mean, I wouldn't scratch myself to bleeding often, but I would scratch in one spot, and then, you know, that would just shift to a different spot, you know, with psoriasis, and I would always have something to scratch, and that would always feel good. So that could be something too that might have affected, you know, mental health or whatever, the release of dopamine or whatever it is, serotonin, whenever you scratch an itch. And I would have a constant drip of that whenever I needed it. And so that's just another different thing that I've had to deal with as well. Outside of those things, I don't know that I miss anything else about having psoriasis. I mean, it's all been positives so far. And I don't think people talk about that a lot. Obviously, you know, I've been doing this psoriasis free for the last 2.5 years or so, and yeah, it's been good, and I'm happy to not have it now. That being said, you know, other people that still have or are suffering from actually having the symptoms of psoriasis, you know, I mean, definitely go out there and explore the different things, because it's not going to go away by itself. I mean, it could go away by itself. My dad had psoriasis for a while, and when he turned, like, I don't know, 55, 60, his psoriasis just started going away, and he doesn't have to use any medications or anything. So it could go away. Every body is different, right? Every person's body is different, and who knows what's going to happen. You can't just hold out hope that it's just going to go away, though. You got to actively do things to kind of get rid of it. And, you know, for me, I said I tried out, you know, all sorts of different medications from the dermatologist. I worked with my dermatologist a lot, and they helped me to get, you know, get on different medications. The topical steroids worked well, but the problem with topical steroids is that they will kind of cause withdrawal symptoms within your skin. So you can use it, and it will eventually start helping your skin get less inflamed. And over time, if you continue to use it, and then you like suddenly stop using it for whatever reason, you run out of a tube or whatever, and you don't have another one on hand, well, that psoriasis over the next few days could start getting inflamed and come back, you know, even stronger than it was before. And that's something that those withdrawal symptoms may cause. The other thing is that I believe the steroids also thin your skin in the areas that you're using them. Now, when I say thin your skin, I don't know to what extent that is, but yeah, you could definitely notice it, because that skin just kind of, it literally just kind of feels a little thinner there, and a little easier to injure if anything were to happen to it. Outside of that, I never really experienced any negatives on that. I've tried those creams, I've tried the foams, I've tried the biologics is what I kind of settled on at the end. The biologic is an injectable medication which inhibits or suppresses your immune system. I don't know to what degree, if it's your whole immune system or if it's, you know, just a certain aspect of it. And that that stuff eventually worked on me. So I tried several different ones. I've tried Humira, I've tried Enbrel, I've tried Stelara, I've tried Cosentyx, I've tried, I can't even remember them all anymore. But over the years, I would try them, and give them, 6 months to a year's time to kind of take effect. And none of those ones before Taltz actually helped me. I mean, okay, so they all helped me to a degree, right? They would all slow down the psoriasis. They would slow it from spreading. They would slow it from regenerating. They would slow it from itching, all that jazz. But they never quite worked. The ones prior never quite worked as well as advertised or as hoped for. All of those ones I just mentioned, those ones didn't really, the ones prior to Taltz didn't, they cleared me up maybe like 30, 40 to 50%. I think once I started switching to Stelara later, Stelara definitely probably got me about 50% of the way clear. And then I stopped that and then went on to, no, actually Cosentyx was before Stelara. Then Stelara worked pretty well, but that was only like once every 3 months where I would get an injection. Some of the injections are like, every 2 weeks, or a month, every month, or every week even sometimes. But Stelara was once every 3 months, and that did not work too well in general. And I know some of my videos that I did, back in, I think, 2019, 2020, that those were while I was still on Stelara. So they didn't completely clear me up. Now, that doesn't mean it's not going to work for you. Everybody is different, right? And so one of those ones, I know people who Humira has worked wonders for them. Enbrel, same thing. Any of those ones, it just depends. You've got to try them and move on from there. Taltz, I had to take a bunch of shots up front, and then now I take a monthly maintenance dose every single month, and that's been working out well for me so far. One thing that I did mention before in a past video is that these biologics, your body will eventually kind of get used to them, and they will not necessarily reject them, but they will lose their efficiency in working in your system. And so this Taltz, like I said, I've been on for, I think 2.5 years. I can't remember at this point. The Taltz is working for me still, and I'm probably 99% clear. However, I have noticed some spots coming back here and there, and they've been kind of stubborn, and they keep reoccurring in those areas. So I use, a little topical medication for that still, just for those little spots that creep up, because they are itchy, but since I'm so far removed from it, it's kind of an annoying itchy, and of course a little bit of flaking on it as well. But yeah, I mean, the bottom line is you kind of got to stick with it, and I definitely recommend everybody do that, to not just the biologics, but try everything. Go work with your doctor and try everything, to see where you can get with it to help you clear your mind, clear your body, and feel better. Because really, it's just something that I know I hate it when people say it's not something people should have to deal with, because we all have, our proverbial crosses to bear. If it bothers you, take care of it. Quit sitting around and not doing anything about it. You've got to do something, whatever it is, be it ignoring it and living your life as is, or if it bothers you, get rid of it, or try to get rid of it. Do something. You got to keep moving on this train of life. Otherwise, we're gonna just fall off and not go anywhere, and that's just not something we should do. All right, so I guess that's enough of not really a rant, but I'm just kind of thought vomiting everything. I definitely want to continue doing more videos, and it'll probably be mostly just talks about random subjects and things. I love video games. I'm still a big gamer. not gonna really vlog my life. I'm not that kind of a person. I'm a little more private than most other YouTubers. But you know, I don't even consider myself a YouTuber. I hate that term. I'm not an influencer. I just want to talk to people, and I want to talk to you about what I have to say, or these stupid thoughts that come to my head, will be them good thoughts or bad thoughts. So if you guys want to continue watching, please let me know. If you have any questions, please put those in the comments. I would definitely love to hear from you. You know, I serious questions, funny questions, whatever. You know, I'm not shy about answering questions. You know, I am, like I said, I'm private, but I'm not. I mean, I'll answer pretty much any question, you know, short of giving you my social security number or any of the stupid things like that. But yeah, just give me a holler, and let's get the conversations going and flowing. All right, have a good one. Talk to you later. Bye.